Are you part of the 92% of people who actually set goals for themselves on the 1st of January but never achieve anything at the end of December? If you are in the right place. I hear you, I feel you, I've been there, and I know there is a much better way to set up your goals that will actually help you achieve better in 2021. My name is Clotilde, and I'm a certified high performance coach from the High Performance Institute. And I've basically been trained on understanding how the high performer, which means the highest achiever, most successful, most fulfilled people in the world, are doing differently, what strategies, what tools, what habits they are using. And one of these strategies is obviously setting better goals for yourself when you start the year. So I'm very happy that I will be able to share today with you 4 different ways that high performers are thinking differently about their goals. And if you are someone who in 2020 has been experiencing a lot of challenges, hardship that have left you a little bit low energy, low productivity, very demotivated, or really lacking the momentum and feeling very stuck, that's going to help you a lot to, reboot completely. So leave 2020 behind, go exponentially in 2021. That's my goal today for you. If you're a person who, on the other hand, has been using 2020 already as a transformational year, where you've been implementing a couple of changes and you've been reflecting on your life and you really want another level of quality of life next year, that's going to help you either keeping the momentums on things you've already started and also think bigger and grow exponentially in 2021. And if you're a person who is just simply already crushing it anyway, stay with me as well, because high performer have a whole different perspective on things, and you might be able to find a couple of nuggets, find a couple of little nuances that you can adjust the way you are looking at your goals. That is going to help you reach your own next level and obviously your next level of achievement as well. So let's go. Let's talk about the 4 ways that high performers are looking differently at their goal settings. So tip number 1 from a high performer, if you want to write down your goals in 2021 to make sure that not only you achieve them, but you also get exponential growth, is this one. Dream first. This is the mistake number 1 that most people make when they are writing down their goals. They forgot to do this. And if you're like me, you've discovered SMART goals when you enter the corporate world. So you were told by your manager, write down a couple of things for me so I can measure your performance. And you were told, make it specific, make it measurable, make it actionable, make it realistic, and make it time-bound. If you are like me, that's how you've been told goal setting works. And that's also probably what you've been using to write down your goals for yourself as well in your personal life, in your career, in your health or relationship, whatever else you want to work on. The problem with SMART goals is first that they are very task orientated. So usually it's kind of a to-do list at the end of the day. It's something that you can, measure your progress and say, yeah, achieve that this year. But it's quite often not something where you are really satisfied, even if you achieve the goal. Quite honestly, I don't know if you've ever been excited by your SMART goal, but I've never been personally. And that's because, it's a to-do list. So it doesn't really tell me I've been growing, I've been learning, or whatever else. They're also very limiting you in terms of thinking, because you need to be realistic, you need to be specific, you need to be measurable, and all of this, though it helps you narrowing down in real actions what you have to do, it doesn't allow you to dream. It doesn't allow you to think further than your current circumstances, than your current competencies, than your current capabilities, than the current needs of your company. It's really kind of putting you in a little box, and maybe you stretch yourself a little, but you cannot get exponential growth by doing that. And the third thing is there are so absolutely boring goals. I've never seen anyone who tells me, yes, I've been writing down my goals for my work, and they are super smart, and I'm so excited, I'm going to go after them. It's like, no, you don't do that. You're like, I've written them, I'll look at them again in December. And the reason why these goals are so boring is because there is usually no real emotional attachment to them. It doesn't really, you cannot, integrate this as part of your identity, as part of your dream. It's really just like some kind of boring task you have to do administratively, but it doesn't really help you connect with it. And that's the reason why the SMART goals are not working if you want exponential growth. So never start with SMART goals when you want to set up something for yourself, for your life, for your career, or whatever else. First thing to do is a kind of brainstorming phase, is basically dream, and dream big. No limits, no, it's not possible for me, no, I cannot do this right now. Just dream and be crazy. And by that, I mean, really try to project yourself very long term. So think about 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year. Try to really see what is the whole story you could create for yourself. And try to do this in a way that is also balanced. So make sure that you think about all the areas of your life, not just your current work, but your career, which is a bigger thing than just your current work. Your life, your health, your relationship, your finances, your passions, your whatever else, spirituality, emotional health, whatever else is part of your life, think balance. High performers are able to sustain their success on the long term because they understand that all these things have to be balanced for them to be happy and fulfilled in their life. So try to really identify your vision for 10 years and then work backwards towards what do you need to actually achieve next year if you want to be able to start building this quality of life for yourself. Second thing, don't forget when you do this vision to think about who you want to become. This is a mistake we do as well in goals. We forget to kind of implement as part of the goals, as part of what we are trying to achieve, a sense of future identity. And it's very important. You want to see yourself go from I'm this person in the present to my future self, and my future self as, I don't know, more confidence, is healthier. You need to see that there is a progress. There should be growth. There should be transformation. There should be you going to a future person that you're really proud of, that is really aligned with who you want to be, how you want, to show up in the world. And if you are able to do this, you're going to see there is a whole different level of emotion attached to it. Because if you say, okay, I'm going to work on this goal at work, and this is going to stretch me in the direction of making me this better person that I want to be, you're going to go and crush it much better. So don't forget to think about who you want to become. And the third thing to also include there is how you want to contribute to the world. People who are fulfilled and satisfied in their life, they understand that this only happens at the moment you start putting yourself out there for others. You need to be of service. You need to be contributing, bringing your skills to the service of someone else, of a cause, of a mission, whatever it is for you. This also needs to be part of your goals. And we often forget that, and it gives us a sense of unfulfillment as well, because we forget to notice that actually we are doing something that is useful for someone else. We are forgetting that we are contributing to the world. And if you can bring that as well in your vision, in your goals, that's also going to give you an extra layer of accountability, an extra reason why you should be showing up at your best level and why you should be crushing your goals. So, ditch a smart goal, dream big, dream long term, dream holistically in all the areas of your life. Dream about who you want to become and dream as well of how you want to contribute to the world. And I promise you, if you start with that, you're going to have a much better chance this year to succeed in life, to be a high performer, and to be going crushing your goals. Tip number 2, if you want to set up your goal in 2021 like a high performer, is this one. Become a project leader. You're not just someone who is setting up goals, you are a project leader. Every goal you set for yourself should be considered as a project, and you should really approach them like you would do at work with this mindset of I'm going to lead it, I'm going to make sure it's successful. You can think about it as if you were a CEO of a company that helps you a bit better, but you really need to take the leadership of it and the personal leadership to, first of all, believe in your own success, but as well making sure that you are anticipating everything that's coming as part of the execution of this project. So the obvious one is, first question, do you have the resources? You will never start a project at work if you say, no, we don't have the money, we don't have the time, we don't have the people to do the work. So if you think about one of your goals, make sure that you check that as well. Do you have the time to do it on top of other responsibility? Do you have the money you need, or do you need to start saving so that you can start this goal a bit later in the year? Whatever else, maybe it can be that you don't have the support that you need. Go and really think about this in terms of project. Do I have everything I need to start right now? And if not, what do you need to start doing first? And then you can go and do your goal. So that is the basic one that most people forget from time to time. It's like we say, yeah, I'm gonna do all these goals, and then like, oops, I'm missing this big piece that I need to start. So that's a number one. Number two, you also need to think in terms of planning and scheduling. Obviously, this is also, any project leader will tell you, you need to know when you start, you need to have milestones, you need to have moments where you have to take decisions that drive you in different directions. You need to have a final date, you need a deadline to do your goals. And some people are good at that for their personal goals, but not everyone. So really think strategically there. What is your planning? What is your milestone? What are the KPIs you are going to measure to make sure that you are actually on track? Really think about it like if you were a CEO. A CEO will never tell you at the end of the quarter, hey, the sales are not really good, but okay, who cares? No. This is not okay. You are the CEO of your own life. So take your goal seriously as a project leader. If you set for yourself a deadline, respect that deadline and really go after it. And element number 3 as a project leader that you also need to do from the beginning is do a risk assessment. This is where most people forget when they set up their goal. They forget that there are going to be obstacles on the way. There are going to be struggles. It's normal. It's part of life. This is going to happen. You know it. If you've set up goals for yourself before, you might know that maybe you start and then after a month you get discouraged because you are not getting the support for your partner, for instance, or you know that you are lacking a bit of discipline in some areas, or you know that some of the things you set up on your plate, you have too many goals, so you are not able to achieve them. You know all that. You know there are going to be struggle. You know there are going to be days you are going to be unmotivated. So here is really like, how can you anticipate that? How can you, before you even start, make sure that you have everything you need and set up in place the corrective action that you need. And that should be in every area. So obviously resources is one. You need to make sure you have the resources to start. The number 2 is thinking about your environment. So if you say, for instance, I want to lose 10 kilos this year, but my partner is a very great cook and he's always doing these nice meals, and I don't want to say no to him because he's doing it so nicely. How are you going to lose these 10 kilos? You know, that's like stupid stuff. Or maybe you say, I want to be a person this year. I want to be a person who is like super energetic, very enthusiastic. And you keep surrounding yourself by people who are negative, who are dragging you down. There is work to be done there in terms of support. And it's also, in terms of environment, you also need to ask yourself, am I actually the person who can take some of these decisions? If you say, for instance, one of my goals at work this year is to contribute to this project, but you're actually not the person who can decide that, your first step should be to go and talk to the person who can decide. To say, hey, I'm interested, I really want to be there, convince them that you want to be part of this project. This should be step number 1. So really anticipate the obstacle. If you're not the decision maker, anticipate that as well. And also very important, anticipate the obstacles that are happening here. Between this 80 centimeter between both of your ears is where most of the work has to be done before you even start. And that's where the personal leadership is coming from. If you say, I want to become the healthiest person next year, but somehow in your brain, you have these like past stories where you know you've been not successful at keeping your weight, okay, or you have not been an energetic person. Everything that's happening in there that is holding you back, every belief you have of your own success, you need to make sure you deal with that before you even start, because that's going to come on the way. You need to find techniques. If you say, okay, maybe I have to repeat to myself every day that I'm going to be a healthy person, an energetic person, that's going to help you get there. So you need to find the tricks to hold yourself accountable, to remove any block there are in your head. And it's also about understanding what works for you in terms of fulfillment and in terms of happiness. If you say, okay, I'm not going to do this goal, but actually this goal is only something you set up because you want to please someone else, you're never going to be fulfilled. That's not going to help you keep the energy going. That's not going to help you keep the momentum and the motivation. So you also need to address, how am I going to know that I'm successful? Is it really making me happy to work on this goal? And importantly, do I need external validation? Because if you always need external validation from someone else, there is a chance you're going to fail because you're probably not going to receive what you need. And very important as well, one thing that people forget, it takes time. A goal should not be something you can achieve in one day, just ticking a box. So it takes time. And the question here is like, are you willing to wait? Are you able to keep yourself accountable on the long term? If not, what are you going to do? How are you going to make sure that every day you work on it? How are you going to make sure that you celebrate? How are you going to make sure that when you start feeling a loss of momentum, you're going to kick yourself up again so that you can continue working on it? All of this is anticipation of what is going to come on your way. And if you set a goal before, and if you failed at goal before, or if you succeeded at achieving goals before, you already know most of it. So make sure that this year, before you start, be a project leader. Think resources, think environment, think all the possible roadblocks that are going to happen. Make sure you tackle them before you start. So tip number 3, if you want to achieve your goal as a high performer this year, is this one. Shout it out. So no goal should ever be a secret. I repeat, no goal should ever be a secret. The reason why, first of all, it has been proven by science that people who are writing down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. This is a fact that has been already measured. So if you've never written down a goal, Now is your time. Start with that. Write them down, because verbalizing, putting words on what you want to achieve is gonna help you also make them a little bit more tangible, more real. That's level 0. Level 1 is, instead of writing them down, once you've written them down, I should say, start speaking them out. So it might be that you start singing in the shower in the morning. It might be that, you kind of repeat incantation, whatever works for you, whatever you have to do. There is a very interesting psychological thing happening to your brain if you start speaking things out, and it's gonna help you make them real as well in a different way. So you need to hear your own voice saying the words to start believing them. That's the thing. So start doing whatever you need to do, and if you want to sing in the shower, feel free to do so. And the next level after that, if you want to go one step even further, is doing visualization. So visualization is actually something where most humans are very good, actually better than speaking or writing, or just imagining things and visually seeing them. And that really helps you as well, because your brain doesn't know what is real or what is not. If you put in your brain some images of you positively achieving your goals, being very successful, already being this future person you are going to be very proud of, having people congratulating you because of what you've achieved, if you can kind of prime your brain with that, it's going to help you as well condition your brain to say, yeah, that's going to happen. That's a reality. That's a positive thing happening. So that's the next level. Write them, say them out loud, and visualize them if you can. That should happen every day and everywhere. So it's not just you write down your goals on the 1st of January and you don't look at them until the 31st of December. That's not being part of the 75% of people who write down their goals, keep looking at them, but at the end of January, they forgot they have goals for the year. 75% is very, very high. So don't be one of this person this year. Make sure that every day you think about your goals. Make sure that every day you repeat them to yourself. Make sure that you have post-its everywhere in your apartment. Make sure that you use some of these goals in your computer password so that you see them day after day, because that's going to really help you keeping them in front of you. And it's super important, not just because they're going to be more real for you, but also because your brain needs some focus. So if you say to your brain, my goal this year is to do this every day, your brain is going to be like a laser. It's going to be looking for all opportunities that actually are helping you getting there. So it's kind of just directing your brain towards the right thing, and it's going to guarantee that you can succeed there, obviously. Next level is to shout it out to other people. So you need to go and say to people, this is what I'm working on this year. You need to do this first, because verbalizing it makes it even more real, particularly when you say to other people, they're going to keep you accountable for it. If you say to them in 6 months, I'm going to be finishing this project and I'm going to be super successful, they're going to keep you accountable for it. They're going to be saying, hey, what is this thing you say you are going to do this year? So this is a very strong psychological trick. Some of us are not very comfortable doing that, because obviously it takes some vulnerability to be able to share with other people what we are working towards. And sometimes we think we don't need other people to know what we are working on, but that's unfortunately not the truth. We need to have people who know what we are doing, who can keep us accountable. But more importantly, they're going to do the same. That's what I mentioned with your brain. They're going to focus on it. If you say to them every week, my goal is to work on this, they might think, oh, I know this other person who is also working on that. I know, I can help you with this because I know how to do that. So it's going to help you as well, creating more opportunities and obviously being more successful. And that's the next level, at the top level, if you really want to push yourself, is go and say your goals to a group of people who is actually better than you. So this is very important, to have a group of people who are higher achiever, or whatever areas you are working towards. If you say, I want to be a better communicator this year, find a group of 5 people who are very good communicators that are going to kick your butt, are going to tell you, hey, there you can go faster if you do this. There you should not be working on that because it's actually not helping you. Here you are really not performing. Go and do the work again. People who can actually challenge you are going to expect a whole different level of you. That's also going to help you achieve your goal much faster. And again, you need to be very courageous and vulnerable to go there, because you know that they are going to be challenging you. So make sure that you enjoy this process as well. So message is simple. Write down your goals, say them out loud, visualize them, talk to other people who are better than you. and do this every day and everywhere. It should be something that you do consistently this year. That's going to help you achieve your goals much faster than what you believe you can do. And that's going to make sure that you actually achieve them at the end of the year. So tip number 4, if you want to achieve your goals as a high performer this year, is this one. Plan the next 12 months. And you are reading correctly, it's 12 months. It's a full year. It's not just 1 month, it's not just 1 week, it's not just the first week of January or the January 1st. You need to really be thinking long term, and you need to be very strategic in your planning if you want to make sure that this is happening during the year. So once you've done your dream, once you've done your vision, you need to narrow down to real actions and to real schedule. And that's where the real magic is going to happen. That's where you're going to be able to keep your motivation and your discipline and your momentum during the year if you really do a good strategic planning. And the reason why I'm really pushing you there is because high performers are successful in general because they are very, very good, productive people, very good at strategizing and planning. And they're actually working 60% of their week on what actually is meaningful to move the needle towards their goal. 60% of their week. This is huge. If you go and you look at your own agenda right now and tell me that you are working 60% of your time on meaningful things, I'm going to congratulate you because you're already a high performer. But for most of us, it's not the case. For most of us, we have like distractions, we have other people priority coming on the way, we have things happening randomly in our lives that we are not, we have to deal with sometimes. You cannot always avoid things happening. And the reason why high performers are better than us and they can really get this success is because they have already anticipated that during the year, they have activities that they should not be compromising on. They have goals, they have tasks that they have to complete in a certain order, by a certain time to be able to actually move towards their goal. So I really want you to get there as well. And the couple of steps, very simple. First one, identify for each of your goals what are the 5 needle movers. By that I mean, if you are aware of the Pareto law that says that 20% of what you do is actually giving you 80% of your results, this is the most, I don't know how to say that. It's very, the most disengaging thing for me. It's like, we all know that 80% of what we do is pure garbage, who doesn't lead us towards any of our goals. And people are like, yeah, we know it. It's like, okay, you know it, so what do you do with this information? If you know that only 20% is giving you a result, then focus on these 20%. Make sure before you start anything that you really try to understand what are these 20%. And it might be as simple as saying, this year I want to become the healthiest person of my life. Who else has done this that I know, that I can go and ask and talk to them and say, hey, what were the big 5 things that you have been doing that actually gave you these results? What were the things that were really essential to get you there and to get you the success? So you need to be thinking strategically on what are really the things moving the needle, and then think about them as buckets, and then within each you can put different actions, different timings, different tasks that you can do one after each other, different deadlines. But be very, very strategic. So try to narrow down what actually makes a difference, and then work on the planning from these 5 needle movers. Second thing to do is really do the schedule. I don't mean just you need to have a rough idea that, okay, Q1 you're going to do this, Q2 you're going to do this, Q3 you're going to do that. No. Do a yearly planning, do a monthly planning, do a weekly planning, do a daily planning. Everything, every day you should be working in actions that are actually priorities for you to help you go towards your goal. Every day in your calendar, there should be something that is related to your goals, whatever area of your life it is. And it's very important to keep yourself accountable there to every day look at it, every week look at it, every month look at it, and obviously at the end of the year review whatever you've been able to achieve. But this schedule needs to happen. You need to be keeping yourself accountable, you need to be reviewing it, you need to make sure that it's physically there. So if right now you've told me, okay, my goal this year is to read more books, I need to see in your agenda, if I open it right now, I should be able to see hours that you've already booked every week of the year that helps you read more books. If you say, I want to improve the relationship with my partner, I should be able to see in your calendar, okay, January, this is what she's gonna do. February, there is this dinner organized. March, there is this holiday organized. Whatever else you have to put in your agenda, it needs to be there. And the reason why it needs to be there is because it's really going to help you remove any other distraction. If someone comes and tell you, hey, I need you to do this by like, no, sorry, this is my priority. This has been scheduled for a month. I'm not going to move that for something that you're asking me that makes no sense for me. So it's really going to help you prioritizing, removing distractions, saying no so much more easily than what you can imagine. So really make this exercise in January to schedule 12 months. I know it's scary, I know it feels long, but trust me, if you do it, your life is going to be easier this year. And you are going to have more flexibility for other things that come on the way that you actually want to take in and want to say yes to. And the number 3 is, do not forget in all this schedule, do not forget to plan already resting time, recovery time, and celebration time. You need to make sure that you can sustain your year. You need to have enough energy to go and crush your goals all the time. So you need to make sure that there are moments of recovery, whether it's holidays, whether it's 1 hour of meditation per day, whether it's doing workouts every day to keep yourself physically active, whatever helps you stay focused, stay productive, stay enthusiastic, stay energetic, stay motivated. You need to already book that as well. Super important. Don't forget, there are so many days in the year, you need to make sure you take care of yourself. And if you do this, also really working on the tasks that are really the one helping you get there faster, scheduling them and sticking to the schedule and removing any distraction or any other priority, and making sure you have rest time as well, you're going to be crushing it this year. That's how you achieve goal as a high performer.